Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Price, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is my report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz, Del Borovic as Morgan Rolls, and Josh Halbot as Gideon Vega. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band have made it to Mars. Valentyne faced off with Galen and denied the heretics every ambition before executing him. Attikus was thrilled by the murder. Gideon burned Galen's body so intensely he damaged his own mind, and Morgan was smug when it turned out Inquisitor Roach was corrupt. Can these heroes survive a Necron invasion of Mars? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
Inquisitor Price, what you've heard of the events that occurred surrounding Inquisitor Valentyne will have no doubt been upsetting to you, shocking, perhaps. What occurred on Mars and what followed, these are the events you must truly gird yourself for. This is where the heresy occurs. You've stepped through a dolmen gate, which is a Necron Stargate, for lack of a better term. The Necrons have a particularly difficult time with warp stuff because they aren't. All their sacred energies got drained when they turned into robots. So the dolmen gate is one of the few ways they can sort of mass teleport from place to place. Is why they have to move around so slowly. And some would point to as the reason they haven't conquered the galaxy yet, because they can't just pop in and out of the immaterium at will. Having stepped through the gate, you found yourselves deep in an Adeptus Mechanicus facility somewhere on Mars. You had expected to find yourself in a room with a gate leading to the sort of mankind's expansion into the webway that, you know, our beloved Emperor made and then closed long, long ago. But the sort of escape hatch that still exists. However, it would seem that the dolmen gate has been moved, as the gate itself was warning Trinrakai and asking Trinrakai to investigate. Instead, you are in a large metal floored room. This is like a little hangar. There are lots of gimbaled arms hanging from the ceiling, big turning, like flashing warning lights spinning, casting sort of like a horrific red and yellow light over everything. You can see flipped over examination tables, robed bodies of Mechanicus, scientists around on the ground. And of course, most alarming of all, a single Necron stepping into the doorway ahead of you. Necrons, for those who are unfamiliar, are slightly slicker Terminators from the film Terminator, not from Warhammer Terminators. So metallic skull faces with kind of a smooth front, glowing green eyes, very skeletal teeth installed, vaguely hunched shoulders and a metal skeletal body with a long gun ending in a barrel that's kind of filled with a glowing green energy. So this thing stalks.
Yeah, it's like a T-800 who spent a little bit too much time working in an office.
Yeah. Airbrush T-800.
Little hunched.
I see.
Got its gun.
I was searching for the office reference. I'm like, too much time in an office. Oh,
and a desk.
A desk
Text
job.
shoulders, as they say on Instagram.
So this is what stalks its way into the room and begins to raise its weapon. That said, you're all a bunch of killy boys and ladies and robots. Have at it.
How far away is it from us?
This room is, I would say, 3 bands in total.
Okay.
It's a large-ish examination room. So yeah, three bands is difficulty 3, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
3 bands would be difficulty 3, and that would mean it would take
3 moves to reach
3
it.
moves. So none of us could get there in a single turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Does Attikus know a Necron when he sees one?
No.
All right, he might be a little perplexed here just coming out of all this other Xenos shit. and does he know how Mars works with like Mechanicus stuff?
Valentyne's just going to point at it and say, Xenos, kill it!
Okay, well, that answers a lot of questions then. Because I was wondering how much hesitation there was, but that fixes it.
Yeah, it looks, even by Imperial standards, it looks off. Like, again, the technology of the Imperium is stuck in a state of kind of constant decline, so everything is very industrial, blah, blah, blah. Necrons are like very smooth.
Okay.
It's also minimalist. Like you can see through the skeleton, you can see it. And there are no human components, which is straight up illegal. That's tech heresy of the highest accord. Is like,
and I would know that. He would know that?
Every Imperial citizen knows that artificial intelligence is the boogeyman of the Imperium.
Yeah, they had a Dune phase as well where AI got a little out of control. They're like, shut up, kill it.
Okay. Attikus has a ranged attack in mind, but if you guys want to shoot him first, you're
I
more
think
than welcome
Valentyne is just stepping behind Attikus with that shield because he does not want to get Goss rifled. And then it's bolt pistol up and over the shoulder, and he'll just fire. If Attikus is closing in, Valentyne will follow him on the charge.
Attikus is actually strafing to the side to where these coffins are stored, and he's going to whip a coffin at this guy because he can't get there in time.
Valentyne's going to follow, but he's going to be firing his bolt gun.
Great.
Yeah, I think Morgan would dodge the other direction, and whether or not, like, however big this room is, like, if there's something else to hide behind.
Oh, there's plenty of, if you're looking for cover, there's medical examination tables that have been flipped over. There's gear. So lots of things you can use as cover.
Yeah. I think in this case, Morgan will dive to the side for cover and will have Toby grab Gideon and drag him behind cover too. Because in case he hesitates at this moment of coming through and seeing all this maniac stuff, she's just gonna drag him back behind cover with her.
I also want to be clear, there are Aquillas on the walls and stuff, so there is some degree of comfort. Yeah. Like, we are in Kansas. Just Kansas is full of Necrons.
It's full of dead bodies.
There are evil robots killing things here.
Yeah.
Valentyne will also, because it's a free action to just tap so that his refractor field comes into place. He didn't use it on Kimura because it drew too much attention, but we're not fucking around anymore here.
Yeah.
I think Gideon doesn't even see the Necron. Like, he steps through and he's like looking around and he's so blown away by everything. And then two big pairs of talons like rip him sideways.
Yep.
See? That's so funny.
That's very good.
I knew it.
Okay. So all that happens on your free action. We'll get the bolt pistol shot.
Yep. So you said difficulty 3?
Yes. He's got a defense of 2.
Okay.
He's not in cover. He's very clearly I guess. It's not in cover. It's in the door frame. You're mainly laying down covering fire. Or you're trying to kill it.
I mean, he's trying to tag it, but he always just fires in a hail of bolts.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I need to add a setback for running and gunning. I think theoretically, mechanically, you could be like, I move half, I stop, I shoot, I move half. So like,
I think what we can say is that he also can remove the disoriented condition.
Oh, right.
So he came through the gate, he's just moving. So you add it and it gets deleted.
Yeah, sure.
Considering he's the only one confidently opening fire at this point, he will spend 2 strain to aim once to add a boost to that.
Yep.
Yeah, if I could also aim, I was going to do that, but use my movement, Toby as my second strain pay, and then only an action with no aiming.
Okay, Zero's going to take a shot.
Yeah, but not aimed.
Fair.
I don't know if it's still relevant, but I still have a boatload of advantage from that last psyker check floating around. Would that like
that
go
would
away?
Be relevant. Yeah.
So if you guys want to sift between, there's 4 that you guys can
Just take 2 each, 2 boost each. Right.
I saved the rest on strain, so I evened out. But
nice.
Great. All righty, let's see what happens.
See what happens. Morgan got 1 success, 2 advantage. So that's 9 damage with 2 pierce.
Okay. Yep.
Valentyne, 3 success, 1 advantage, and a triumph. Ooh. So he is doing 14 damage at pierce 2.
Nice.
Okay.
And I'm going to use my 2 advantage to give a boost to Gideon because I'm like, Gideon, get your wits about you.
Oh, this place.
Great.
It's so cool.
So the Necron explodes from the bolt round that hits it. Mm-hmm. So, like blast, the metal blows open, it staggers backward, falls against the wall, and slumps to the floor. You got a pitch for the triumph, or you want a pitch for me?
I'm happy to hear your pitch.
Cool. Because you're laying down a hail of fire as you run, it's like one tags it, does that, and then you just keep firing. So a couple more rounds hit it and like blast off the head and blow out part of the body. As it slumps there, you see bits of it sort of twitch and try to pull back together, but because you've blown off enough pieces of it, it's inactive.
Perfect. Otherwise, yeah, he would, because I think he'd have a superficial awareness that they can get back up. Valentyne has the understanding of Necrons that Ryan the player would have had in 98. They are skeletons. They show up. They kill everything. If you kill them, they can get back up unless you kill enough of them. That's it. They're just boogeymen to him, not coming from this Ordos. At that point, he'll say, L1, if you could figure out what you can do to either affect the Necrons or help us with this. And he's going to crank open Trinrakai and say, where the chug is the next warp gate? Necrons are attacking Mars.
It's not on the other wall.
I'm in a random room. There's nothing here except Necrons.
They moved the Dolmen gate. Why? Hey, look around. You're seeing Necron stuff?
There are Necron coffins attached to a wall. I can see... Interestingly enough, I don't think there would be Aquilus here. There would be the sign of the Omnissiah if we're on Mars.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes.
But it's okay. The cog face is still...
Good old cog face.
It'd be recognized by even Attikus for the Astra Militarum. They have the cog boys all over the place. I see a number of symbols of the Omnissiah. I see tables, dead Martians, and a Necron came through the door. It's dead now.
Okay, great. Well, let me throw back to you then on this. Do you think the Adeptus Mechanicus might just maybe be the kind of people who might think, bunch of Necrons, we should crack these guys open and see what makes them tick so we can make better technology? Because I'm pretty sure that's what you're looking at.
All right,
honestly, it's what I would have done.
So you don't know where it is?
No.
Off. L1, I'm going to need you to find the Dolmen Gate. We don't know where it is. Get whatever you can out of the
Dolmen Gate's behind you. You need warp gate.
A gate there, L1. Thank you for your overall... we need to move quickly. Necrons are horrifically bad.
Yes, this does seem rather not great. I will see if I can patch into the systems and see where a warp gate would be, although, if I understand things correctly, Inquisitor, this is a secret gate. This is not something that was widely known.
Correct. The system itself may not include that information, however...
I can't believe I'm going to say this. Can you insert Trinrakai into me? I believe I will have some clarifying questions for him as we go.
Fabulous. And he'll take the stone... Just put the whole compass into the robot.
Sure.
He'll also say, the system itself may not be able to answer your questions, but there are undoubtedly memory cores in some of these dead. They seem to be working on Necrons and may have more information than the system will allow.
Well, let's go corpse picking then. And she just starts like socketing in like a weird, creepy necromancer's R2-D2 into the heads and starts like uploading material.
While she's doing that, he will turn to everyone else and say, please pick out a robe. Should we survive this, I'd rather not have the death cults of the Mechanicus coming after us for invading their citadels.
Understood. So, what the chug is a Necron?
Necrons are a form of Xenos that have infested the galaxy for, as far as we can tell, hundreds of thousands of years before humanity even came into existence. Information is scant. They are boogeymen, effectively. Robotic monsters that appear rising out of the night, lay waste to everything in front of them. We can attempt to kill them, though they have a reanimation protocol, as I've heard it discovered, which means they can stand back up after they've been killed. The only way to eliminate them is to kill so many that they phase out of existence into, I literally do not know where, nor does anyone else. They are a scourge. This is going to be incredibly problematic. We are on Mars, and this will, I would say, garner planetary extinction level armies marching on this position.
Understood. There's a robe.
And Valentyne would look down, and if any of these kind of soldiers or Mechanicus or whatever had any weapons, if they have the cog-tooth axes or anything like that, Valentyne just wants to pick one thing to give each person.
Sure, yeah. So these guys have standard Mechanicus robes. You would see... there's probably a couple of dead Skitari where they like Adeptus Mechanicus soldiers. Mechanicus is a weird thing because it's like it shouldn't be allowed in the Imperium, but they kind of have to allow it in the Imperium. It's a little bit like when a government just kind of lets the mob do a thing because they're like, we kind of just got to let this ride. So they have their own army. They have their own kind of like military arm, so on and so forth. But Attikus, I think for you, weirdly, I mean, these guys look all right to you because they're mechanical as well. But you can see even on the Skitari who don't have the fully gimbaled robo arms or like replacements or anything else. They seem to have like electric tubing and shit drilled into their arms and their necks and other things. So yeah, there's enough, I would say, for most of your sizes and also just for the speed you're going, throwing the robe on, very easy. Most of their weapons are in the gimbaled arms that are drilled into their back or like they've replaced their like upper torso with. But yeah, you can get like an axe, las pistols in each hand would look enough like a thing.
Yeah, Valentyne isn't looking for any weapons they'd actually use. It's just if we're going to be seen on a camera, if we're seen from a distance, if we're seen coming around a corner, it's like every part of this adds up to Mechanicus. And the moment any of us need to actually engage in combat, throw these aside in a heartbeat. This is just to buy us time in case we are spotted at a distance moving through a corridor. There are Necrons rumored to wear the flesh of the dead that they have killed trying to appear human. I would like to avoid that being an assumption about us.
But Morgan is just helping Gideon get a robe on, and she's getting one on, and weapons, and doing all that
How
stuff.
is Morgan doing with this, though? Because, I mean, you're a chaos lady, so you know chaos is a thing, and, like, aliens, kind of whatever, but, like, this thing feels kind of outside what you've dealt with previously.
It is very outside of, like, that level of Xenos, because, demons and chaos and space marines all make sense to her. But even the Dark Eldar were a little like, and then this is just a far another step, but I think she is bolstered by, Valentyne knows about this stuff. He must know stuff because he's been an Inquisitor for so long. It's like, I guess there's just more to know. So rather than being particularly scared of it because it's like, we shot it and it died, she feels like this is just another roadblock in the way. So I don't think she has a particular fear. Her fears were all connected to like her childhood trauma more than being scared of Xenos or space, because like she traveled in space a lot too.
Gotcha.
And that's not as spooky.
Valentyne would look up from the robe business and say, good, everyone looks good. Worst case scenario, Gideon, I believe as we advance through the hallways, we'll have to put you out front. With your mask, you look more Mechanicus than any of the rest of us from a distance.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. L1, do we have any information on the gate? And if not the gate, do we have information on the location of Nikos Manta?
Inquisitor, the gate appears to be some distance away. We are triangulating this based on what Trin Rakai has told me, under some duress, I may add, about its rough location. The Mechanicus Manta has a laboratory some way from here that is where it should be. He was arranging things for the Cabal to use, but it would seem that the gate was moved here for some kind of black site research project. In order to get there, we will need to travel across a significant portion of Mars. However, there is a hangar nearby that contains a Titan. If you were to get me to that, I may be able to get it moving, in which case we could take longer strides. If you're comfortable with that, Inquisitor.
Yes, done and done, L1. Let's claim a Titan for ourselves. Worst case, if you need intellectual support, I do believe Morgan Rawls has a mind impulse unit that might be used in this.
Simply wonderful. Thank you, Captain. You continue to be ever so charming.
L1, I would say lead the way, but please stay slightly behind Gideon. Everyone else, let's keep moving. Looks at Jeffrey. Ugh. And he will take the arcoflagellant by the collar to make sure it's keeping up with the rest of them as they move quickly through the corners. We don't want to stay in combat, to be clear. We are moving quickly. I'm not interested in eliminating Necrons. I'm interested in our survival.
Understood.
Yes, Inquisitor.
Gideon will, as this is all getting started, like lean over to Attikus and go, "What is a Titan?"
Oh, you're going to love this.
Yeah, and with that, you take to the hallways, with Jeffrey pausing briefly, inscrutably looking down at the Necron before looking up and start to like shuffle down the hall after you.
He takes its gun.
Just envisioning a different life that could have been.
Jeffrey.
Okay, so I think what I want is to start, I think I want something about your kind of like, perception's probably wrong. It's likely vigilance. So
Vigilance is combat awareness, or is this skullduggery for our ability to sneak through?
Yeah, take a skullduggery. Yeah. Because
Cool.
it's not just proper stealth, because this is like at a clip. So yeah, let's go skullduggery.
This is a roll from everyone, or just our sneakies?
So Gideon's up
sneakiest
front.
here?
So I would actually say like if Gideon and Morgan are taking point, then
Sure.
it's from the two of them.
Okay. Difficulty?
Difficulty of 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, I think maybe the way we'll split this is Morgan, I'm going to give you skullduggery, and Gideon, I'm going to give you perception.
Cool. Same.
So
So are they the same for you?
Yep. I put a rank in Skullduggery a long
right,
time
then
ago.
we can take Skullduggery. That's fine. So Skullduggery for both. Okay, so difficulty 3, Toby boost.
Okay.
Gideon.
Gideon should have a boost from
I
Morgan.
was going to say I got a Morgan boost down here.
Morgan boost. Psyker stuff doesn't help you in this. This is an unfamiliar type of, like, moving through an industrial research facility is a different. It's a very like Resident Evil vibe, not like a streets vibe, but at the same time, I think the basic principles apply, and it may actually be easier because it's just like straight hallways.
Yeah, and I think this, if anything, the Xenos thing is a big question, but this sort of facility, I think, feels more familiar to Morgan because it's like, there's grates around here. There's fair. So much time on space vehicles and like skulking around and that stuff. This feels more her style.
Yeah, it's all built on STC logic, so that would actually make sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything's built the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now you have to explain your work to the audience, but STC is like the standard template.
Standard template construct, which is the basis of all of Imperial technology. Essentially, humanity in the past used to be very good at technology and then forgot how to fucking do it all. So there are these standard template constructs, which are machines that can make specific products. They are incredibly sought after. To be able to find one of them, and it can be as simple as finding an STC to make a new kind of knife that's 20% stronger than other knives in the Imperium. And it's like, okay, you get a system. Just what an incredible find.
Wow.
But it also includes tanks, just an entire history of things that are STC, the standard template construct. So they can extrapolate from them occasionally, or they can just mass produce the moment that they find one. So all of Imperial technology is based off of these STC templates and machines that have been uncovered. So there is actually one single underlying philosophy to all of Imperial tech, which is built out of these systems, because experimenting is considered heretical by the Mechanicus, and they execute anybody who does it.
Yay.
Yeah, they're not your friends. They're not nice. They're not nice scientists. They're bad guy scientists, but also good guy scientists because Warhammer. So, let's get those rolls. I don't have anything else to add to that, I don't think. Yeah, let's see what happens.
Oh, man. So Morgan got 2 failures, 1 triumph.
Ooh.
Wow.
Must we?
We must.
And Gideon got 1 success and 1 threat.
Okay.
What a strange mix.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't have anything, I have a very weird pitch.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll take a weird pitch.
Weird pitch, because if this is my skullduggery of like getting us to that place as fast as possible, I feel like it is. I can't tell which direction in the hallways we're going, but I'm like, I see a ceiling shaft. I see a like back way for us to get through, which would not be us, all of us running at once, but it's like I can see a way into the walls section.
Oh, like the Morgan Rawls like specialty.
The Morgan Rawls specialty into the walls is what she's inspired.
okay.
Cannot necessarily follow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
so
that it would be
Morgan
slower,
can
who
make
knows?
better pace, but will be cut off from the team, is I think how I would cut that.
Yeah, and so I could go with L1 then through the walls.
Well, it's not up to me.
Yeah.
Go. Go. If you can get where you're going and point it out to us, frankly, just do it as quickly as possible.
Yes, Inquisitor. I will be in communication. So she's going to take L1 and Toby and go in the wall.
Great. So you disappear into the wall. I'll say your...
Jeffrey goes to go with, and then
No,
realize
Jeffrey, no. Valentine pulls him back. Go with your master. Shouts it forward. You're the most convincingly Mechanicus of any of us. He's wearing a robe. I'm going to say canonically he's wearing a robe, so he blends in.
Finally.
All right. So, yeah, Jeffrey continues to shuffle along. Gideon, with your success, I'm going to give you the threat as strain, just for you've never been on guard duty before.
Yep.
So this is that like constant drumbeat that I know you have in your head is Gideon's like, don't fuck this up.
Be cool. Just be cool.
Is big. But you hear like Jeffrey's shuffling, and then you hear something that's Jeffrey-esque, but a lot louder, which immediately like your brain is well attuned to hearing Jeffrey shuffle around in the night and stuff. So you just throw it unharmed. And you see just like as everyone presses against a wall, 5 Necron soldiers walking by firing. Like they walk sort of past you and then begin to open fire. And there's sort of scattered las fire. And you hear a voice through a vox coder yell, fall back, we need to hold out until... And then you hear like a gurgle as a blast hits them from a Gauss cannon. And the Necrons continue to march. but you're able to kind of slip behind them as they go and engage the Mechanicus forces.
So he'll pull them down a separate hallway. We must go this way.
Valentine will follow silently.
Attikus too.
Great.
Valentine signs to Attikus. We need to teach Gideon combat sign language. He talks too loudly.
Full-throated. Come with me. The Necrons all snap around.
Attikus, signs back like fire bright.
Fire, right.
Head pillar.
Amazing. Also, I love the vision of Attikus having to sign with like new prosthetics that he's just learning how to use.
His
and a
3
power
fingers
fist.
on one hand and a power fist.
Think,
now.
think.
That's why it says fire bright. It would say he could fire could sign fully fluid sentences before, but we're having to do like a pigeon language.
His
now.
poetry is gone. All right, Morgan,
orcish
Yes.
flowers.
you're up an
Poetry
event
was not
Yes.
great to begin with.
with L1 and Toby. Let's roll. I think this is stealth now.
Okay.
Now that we're in the walls, unless you want to take skullduggery, I think I could make a case for either. So.
No, I'll do the stealth. I will take a stealth
Yeah.
now that I have my fancy stealthy
Yeah,
outfit.
your Harlequin outfit. You're not wearing the clown side out.
You know, it's all zipped up and totally blacked out.
You didn't do the inexplicable espionage thing where like a hero infiltrates wearing a sneaking suit and then takes it off so their costume is visible for the rest of the adventure.
No.
Are you still wearing your
I
red
think
robe?
I gotta
or did you
get
ditch
rid
it?
of the robe so that I can do camellia line and go like invisible, basically. Yeah.
Just a little cleavage. Just enough.
Yeah. Tactical.
keep
I was gonna
people
say,
Tactical.
for you to be hidden, is there like a hood? Is it like a
Yeah.
hood meets a speed skater thing?
I
So
think
it's
Well,
just a
imagine
face?
for the Harlequins, like they're often shown without their mask on, without their head or anything else, but also they do a lot of sneaky shit. And I'd imagine this is somewhere between an Ordos assassin arm. Is that the?
Well, there's the assassin arm is the arm. Otherwise, they're just assassins.
Okay, so there's the assassin with the ponytail. I imagine
It's the Calidus who can
Yeah.
shapeshift, or probably they would be the Vindicare who are the snipers. They have the suits that blend
Yeah,
in.
they
the
have a
environment
whole
they're
suit with
with.
goggles
Right, but
and
what I'm
stuff.
saying is because this was a Harlequin outfit, my
It would
guess is
look
it's
closer
closer
to that.
to the other one. In
Oh,
that,
so you get like a full morph suit head you can put on.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that they love having their hair out and everything else, wearing the thing, but when they need to just be the in character or stealthy, they just have the mask. So,
Yeah, totally.
yep.
So we had it all pulled up and closed.
And we
The
can say that.
driest wetsuit in the Imperium.
That's right. Yes.
Absolutely.
And L1 can pack the robe for now, just like bundle
Oh,
it up
that's
and
nice.
just got those Doc Ock arms. Just gotta put them to good use.
Yes.
She's packing a las pistol too.
Yep.
L1.
Yeah.
And Trin Rakai. She's got a weird mixed bag of
Damn.
carry-ons right now.
Great. And however you want to play it, the one of the sneaking things that I had was the stummer that kills all sound.
Oh, right.
And now I'm assuming that the suit can't do that, but one of the things that it usually adds 3 boost, but 1 boost if there's a chance to be seen. So I would vote that it just adds 1 boost if I'm sneaking.
Sure.
Because
Yep.
it's slightly different. And then the Camille line coding adds 2 advantage to stealth checks and gives setback to people trying to perceive her.
Okay. So bad for me, good for you.
Yep. So I'm just going to say that when sneaking, this outfit adds 1 boost, basically.
Gotcha.
And what's my difficulty?
I'm going to say a difficulty of 2.
Okay.
No one is in the vents with you necessarily, so
The Necrons didn't take to the
Necessarily.
skies.
Yeah. I would hear
To the
them
walls.
clunking in the walls.
Just one like clanking through the
Yeah.
God, that'd be horrifying.
it's the opposite of Alien, where you can just see the ping in the screen. It's just like, clong, clong. I'm like, oh, he's over there. I'll just come this way.
Yeah. All right. So that anything else?
No.
Okay. So we got 3 successes and then 2 advantages from my suit.
How do you want to spend the advantage?
I think the advantage I will take back 2 strain that I had before. So it's like, feels like home.
Yeah, you have a momentary, like just being in these close quarters gives you that momentary.
Yeah,
relief.
being all boxed in. Some people get scared. That to Morgan is like, I am the safest I will be for a long time now.
Yep. Fair enough. Okay, so you begin to crawl through the vents. You can hear Gauss cannon fire out in one of the hallways,
Yeah.
but like it's not like a Metal Gear vent where there's just convenient grates you can constantly peek through. Instead, there's probably like large industrial fans and horrible, weird tech garbage. So you continue to kind of crawl through on your way roughly to where L1 had indicated. And again,
Yes.
she's got a rough map. but it's not like she was able to download the plans to the facility or anything. Just sort of a like, it would be a left now, Captain. Just sub-vocalizing to you.
Thank you, L1. And we're being very polite as we go along. And as long as I'm not hearing any other chaos or like need for help from anyone else, we were just going to continue as this.
Great. Would you want to ask Trinrakai anything? This is the first time you've had him on the hook.
I do not care about that, man.
Fair enough. Great. All right, back up in the hallway. You are sneaking past Necrons, which is taking you on a more circuitous route because it's a lot of like, we want to go left, but there's gunfire over there, so we're going to go right. Eventually, you start to hear clicking and clattering coming down a hallway. It sounds almost like someone has poured ball bearings down a hallway. Gideon, you're up front, so you have kind of the first moment to react to this. But small scarab droids begin to spill around one of the corners. You can see a Mechanicus fall forward as these things climb up on his back and like laser drill into him and kind of override him. All of you have a moment to escape. There are places you can try and hide. You can try and fight. What do you want to do?
Valentyne would immediately look in terms of verticality in the hallway we are in. Are there like pipes we can grab onto to climb up? Like if we clear the floor, scarabs should go past. So for him, he's just going to take the arco-flagellant because they're tinier. Just be like, Attikus, an assist. Just lift it up the ceiling and say, hold on, until it does. And then
he just wraps its weird metallic fingers around.
Yep, and then he just wants to jump up and just pull himself up, hook his legs, like using the side of the wall, just get fucking high up. Climbing pipes.
Okay, great.
Attikus is just power fist as like a massive step stool for anyone who wants a lift, a boost up. Just up, go. And it's like it's effortless for him to just lift people.
Gideon will push Jeffrey onto the thing.
No, Attikus, get up.
Attikus.
Jeffrey goes last. He yells at these fucking children.
Attikus throws Jeffrey across the hall.
Gideon, do you want a boost now or never?
No, he's Gideon's okay. He's very agile.
All right, Attikus, up.
Yeah.
All right.
Offering Attikus a hand for where he is.
Attikus, about to reach the power fist, thinks better of it, goes up with the other hand.
Instant shenanigans.
Trying to help Jeffrey.
I was worried about
The Inquisitor pulls his Imperial Saint up. I go fully reasonable for Gideon to do it, but Valentyne is just horrified. He forgets Gideon's a baby. Stupid baby.
Stupid babies need the most attention.
That's right.
Help that stupid baby.
He tried to help him. He didn't want to come up. So Valentyne's really hoping he could survive a swarm of scarabs.
All right, so I need athletics, I think, for Valentyne and Attikus.
Because I'm giving him a boost, does he receive a boost?
Yeah, that's good.
I cannot find a way around it, so yes.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
What's our difficulty?
So I'd say difficulty 2. This is hard, but also
there are a lot of handholds. Like
but also you guys are in like really good combat shape. Like you're all athletic folks. Gideon, you mentioned using agility to do this. So I would give you a coordination if you're trying to do the more acrobatic equivalent of like these guys are hauling themselves up. If you're trying to like leap off of Atticus's hand and kind of land halfway up and then
pull your
legs up
back.
Rather than just chin upping it. I would take a
Oh, sure. Are you getting a boost from me then?
That's why, because he's like Gideon's super agile, so he can get himself up there and swing up in a cool way, and that's why he was worried about Jeffrey. Because he's not strong enough to lift Jeffrey up. So
well,
All right.
So Inquisitors know that. Also, the Inquisitor's not having Attikus wait to try to save Jeffrey.
So in that case, I think we're looking at like a kick off the wall and up kind of situation. Okay. So and similarly difficulty 2. Jeffrey bangs off the wall and falls over.
That's good, Jeffrey. Play dead. He's very sharp, that Jeffrey. Always goes unnoticed. I forget he's here half the time. Poor Jeffrey's going to outlive all of us.
Play
dead.
Let's get those rolls.
Oh, fuck.
Unfucking believable.
This was athletics. Triumph, 2 successes, and an advantage.
Nice.
Valentine's a wash with 2 advantage.
I'll let you spend the triumph to haul.
I'll do
Valentine
just that.
Yep.
Perfect.
If his grip starts to give, he's just a short drop before he is embraced by the power fist and just kind of held back up.
Tom, I've got a pitch for my 2 advantage.
Okay.
Normally, it could let Valentine perform a free maneuver. Could we spend it so Jeffrey climbs the other wall? Just give Jeffrey a free maneuver.
I was going to strip him of flesh so fast. So Jeffrey bounces off the wall.
When I saw that triumph, I was like, Jeffrey, he's safe.
Bounces off the wall, falls over, kind of like does the awkward like Boston Dynamics robot dog trying to stand up thing. Stands up and then sees what did you roll?
3
Gideon?
successes.
So sees Gideon go up and just moves over, sees like a vertical pipe, grabs it and just is like not the legs are doing nothing. They're just hanging there, but just like grabs the pipe. It just pulls itself up the pipe, not trying to escape from the scarabs, just trying to get closer to Gideon because that was its last command was to like get
follow
up there.
Gideon.
Just follow Gideon, yeah.
So it just climbs up the pipe and then turns its squished face to stare at Gideon. Scarabs come rushing by underneath you, a horrific tide of metallic destruction, observing nothing and skittering away.
That's so funny. I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
It's just the humor, the idea of this horrible thing coming up and then just turning its mangled like emotional.
Yes.
All these
It's
horrible
staring you
things
dead
happening.
in the eye from 3 inches away.
I don't know what you picture, but I picture like someone who's like pressed their face against like glass.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's no glass. That's just the shape of the face.
I'm imagining Gideon in his own horror movie where he's climbed up and he's looking from below and he's got like the sweat on his face, the little yellow light from
Out of the
Alien.
darkness.
And he turns to the left and Jeffrey's smushed face is 3 inches away, leaning out of a shadow, staring at him.
I think I called it a fetal pig in a jar. His face. The first episode you introduced him because that's how I also think of it as he's just like
But he grew up with it, so it must there's a subconscious comfort. He sees Jeffrey there, go, oh, Jeffrey.
When a mangled face looms out of the darkness, you're like, it's bedtime.
He's just Jeffrey.
I'm going to get tucked in.
This is a face I know, not like the metal face or the chaos face or the Drukhari face or the Inquisitor face. The scary ones, not here.
This face reminds me of grilled cheese. A little grilled cheese Sammy and some soup.
He will bring me the nicest soups. I will make him leave the room while I eat.
You cannot watch.
Jeffrey, be my table again in the garden.
I will promise you one thing, Jeffrey. Nothing bad will ever happen to you. I will protect you with all I have.
At the cost of the life of an imperial saint.
The perils of the warp, the death of his mother, all the harrowing shit. Looks at the face. Breakfast in bed. I'm there again.
Alrighty, so he's. I guess he looks at him. The scarabs just go by?
Yeah, scarabs just go by. You got out of the way. I like the pitch.
So right, Valentine will hop back down, grab the archiflagellant, say, Attikus, release. When it lets go, put the archiflagellant back down.
Yeah, he's there to help ease that down. Oh my goodness.
That was a big one. Jeffrey just releases and falls.
Yeah. Attikus has to put the shield up, just like bounces off the shield.
Falls back on his
Damn
back.
it, Jeffrey.
Gideon was like,
Back up.
like dust them off.
Yeah. All right.
Using the archiflagellant like those long arm grabbies. Like,
Yeah, the little claw thing. Yeah.
Let's go.
I want to pick up that thing over there.
Yeah.
Squeeze the
You
archiflagellant.
get something off the top shelf, lift up an arco, grab.
Then you put it
Grab
back
was
down.
its code word. Just goes insane.
Alright.
Shops and more stuff.
Walk with me
On
again.
we go. Yeah.
Are archiflagelants like seething at all time, or are they like
No,
docile?
with the pacifier helm, they're completely docile. It's the moment they hear their code
Then
word,
they
then they
flip
go
out.
fucking
Okay.
ballistic.
Yeah. Which we haven't said yet, so good for us. You continue to make your way down the hall, sort of avoiding these things as you can. Morgan, you continue to crawl through the vents. L1 is giving you kind of rough directions again towards where the bank is. That said, you do finally kind of find a vent space where you can look down. It's not near where these folks are. You're kind of like on one of those weird diagonals that vents seem to follow. The good news is you're finding these are particularly good vents for someone like Morgan because the Mechanicus have to get in and service things, and they're all big and like
heavy,
clunky and have metallic. They have so much metallic shit that like they kind of need. It's the Jeffries tube thing from Star Trek, where they just need room to actually move around because they're not sending in like just little tiny humans to like crawl around.
These are spacious vents.
Spacious by your standard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice. You could live here maybe one day.
Absolutely.
After the Inquisition. So you you do find a vent looking down, and you see just a desperate menial running, just firing a las pistol back kind of over, doing the classic Han Solo run and shoot. So you see them just kind of pass under the vent, running and shooting. And then you hear a meaty thwack, just of like basically the sound of someone running into a wall. And the menial goes careening past your viewpoint again as though shoved. And you hear a heavy stomping. As 3 Space Marines walk by underneath in just hideous plaid, with bolters up, and you hear them barking orders to each other and just unloading with bolter fire down the hall as God's cannon fire pings off their armor. But as they kind of stride past you, entering combat, you realize the Crimson Thatch is here.
And Morgan stays dead silent, dead quiet, waiting for all of that and all of them to pass.
Sounds like a stealth check.
I'll just stealth check that shit out of it. We are just holding position. Okay. Difficulty.
3.
Okay.
Boost for being in event.
Okay.
You can take your normal whatever.
Took my other boost.
Sneaky boost.
Sneaky boost.
I'm going to give you an additional boost for the fact that they are in combat firing bolters.
Yes.
That's loud.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to roll it. 1 success, 2 advantage, 1 triumph.
Hey.
Oh,
nice.
I heard the cadence and I was like, the last thing is either triumph or despair, and I do not know.
Yeah. Triumph.
Okay. What to spend that triumph on?
That's what I want to find this Titan. I want to get to the Titan. That's what her goal is. I'm waiting to be completely clear of these people,
Great.
but my goal is to get to that Titan.
So then what will happen is you're perfectly still. They move past, and then L1 says, something I do love about the servants of the Imperium, and Combeat obviously.
We're
so I love about the servants of the Imperium is they have so many channels for things, so many auspices, so many different ways to see. I'm happy to report that I now have a direct map of our route that I just borrowed from the auspice of one of those helpful-looking space marines below. I hope you don't mind. It is, after all, in the service of the Emperor.
Yes, it absolutely is, L1. Good work. And I'm going to try and send through like the communications. If I could take a screenshot from Toby's face of those 3 Space Marine and just silently send it back as a ping to...
Not even speaking, just like, look at this. Yeah.
This is what you get. Sending it back to Valentyne, and then let's continue on, L1.
Very good, Captain.
Yep. Valentyne will receive the message, take a look at it, and say, the Crimson Thatch chapter is active in this current combat. Hopefully we'll avoid them. If we do not, I'm going to have to make one hell of a gamble.
We're ready to die for you, sir.
Unfortunately, I can't permit that at this time because we need to get to Terra and save the Emperor. If we die here, we all lose.
Then we won't.
Wonderful. Gideon, extra sneaky, please.
Let's get that skullduggery. That extra sneaky skullduggery.
Hope you don't mind Attikus lumping you in with that "we will die for you."
Yeah.
Gideon's eyes bulged ever so slightly. Wait.
Yeah.
Jeffrey just slowly shifts.
I loved that.
Happy to be involved. Happy to be included in a we.
And I guess if I can pass my 2 advantages as a boost to Valentyne.
Sure.
Just of like, you have the information, you get a little boosty.
Great.
Difficulty.
Difficulty 3. You get, I'm going to say a boost for receiving, I would assume Morgan would send the map as well. So a boost for having like an actual clear map location.
Sure.
Makes the sneaking a bit easier. I can't think of any reasons for you guys to have setbacks right now.
I think the only question about setback would be Necrons are pretty passively engaged with their environment, where Marines are more actively engaged in their environment. Do these Marines carry auspexes or anything? Because that might give us a stealth setback.
Yeah, okay. So one setback for Marines with auspexes. Yes, good point, Ryan. Thank you. Having just hacked into one, I feel like I had to levy it as a disadvantage as well.
Good to go?
Yep.
Cool. One fail.
All right.
It was that setback too. That was the one that did it.
So you move up, Gideon, and you listen, and you don't hear anything, and you kind of wave people forward. And as you step out, a Marine who had clearly picked you up on an auspix, just says, "Stay there, Adeptus."
And Gideon freezes.
And slowly, you hear the thump of the boots, and a Marine of the Crimson Thatch comes around the corner. Bolter at the ready, but not up. You're obviously not Necrons, but looks you over and says, "What are you doing here?"
Oh, and I am fleeing from the Necrons.
Acceptable. This way.
And he just puts his head down and shambles past.
Yeah. So he's got all of you kind of.
Yeah, we'll just be following. We were all caught as a group.
And you notice
when I'm looking at the data slate, are we heading in the way we want to go?
Oh, hell no. He begins to lead you away from your target. Meanwhile, Morgan, you have successfully, with a bunch of crazy good rolls, made your way kind of through the vents. You've sent your thing along. You hear a couple more bolt around explosion things going on. You're aware Marines are engaged. But then you come out of a vent kind of into one of the ancillary rooms to the Titan. You can see it through a broad window, just kind of like the arms waiting for armaments. It's clear that it's under repair. So there's bits and pieces of it on heavy chains hanging from it. So you're just getting like that classic Metal Gear mid-range view of this thing.
Yeah.
But it is marvelous, and it is huge. So you kind of pull yourself out of the vent. L1 hovers down behind you with Toby.
Yeah.
And as you step forward,
Morgan would start to leave the vent and ask L1, like, check that there are no sensors to detect us, because Morgan's not going to leave that vent until L1 checks.
Oh, fair enough.
Once she does, Morgan's going to leave flying with Toby, so they're not touching anything.
Great, yeah. So
Mission Impossible,
yes.
Just on a bird.
L1 scans quickly based on what she can scan and says, "No, there are no sensors. It would seem that the Adeptus Mechanicus are rather firm in their belief that they have full control of this planet. It is not surprising based on the history of this place that I have. We may advance."
Very good, L1. You take the lead, and I'll be right beside you.
Wonderful. And a gauze cannon shot rips through L1, just causing her to spin, bounce off a wall, and crash. As a large Necron begins to stomp its way in. This thing is up on like little pointed, almost crab legs, big heavy body, massive hulking chest with a large cannon. Traditional kind of Necron face, but with 3 glowing green eyes. And it just like raises, it moves the cannon. So having just shot L1, shifts the cannon towards you. And you just watch like the energy of the gauze cannon begin to heat. When there's a blast of brilliant gold light behind it. And with a roar, a creature slams into the back of this thing. And there's a hail of gunfire as a Mechanicus wearing a very different kind of robe steps forward with gimbaled arms just blasting into this thing as a woman with horns and claws tears at the side of this Necron machine, ramming it into a wall. A figure darts forward, throwing a golden arm into it. And from behind them, a voice says, "Oh, my lady, it's you!" And the Mechanicus turns, And Octavius Blackhand says, "Hello, new friend! Where's my buddy Valentyne?"
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features the voices of players Ryan LaPlante, Tyler Hewitt, Josh Halbot, and Del Borovic, alongside Game Master Tom McGee. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC.com. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum-Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: George Dolby, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Alarain Okapi, Madre de Gatos, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Kai Koa, Squire Solaire, Sandy Sassy Pants, Amira Lockhart, James Molina, Nick Hemsing, Alex LaFountain, Nikki Blake, Seth Cambron, Corpse Knight Silver, Adamir 101, The Dankler, Anti-Core 7, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.